excited to chat with Spencer, the head of the Esports Director at the Tennessee's Cumberland University. Spencer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I definitely enjoy hopping on these type of podcasts, these type of little events and everything. Talk more about collegiate in every which way. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I guess to start, tell us a little bit more about journey in the world of the esports space and how you found your way here.
So it's really actually a really crazy story how I got into the scene of esports. So I played traditional sports my whole life.
Mm.
I played football for 18 years. I played at a small division school in a Division two school in Kentucky. Oh, words are hard today.
Right.
Uh, and so I graduated there. Actually got the opportunity to come to Cumberland myself as a graduate assistant in the
Awesome.
SID department, the sports information department. And so going there, I earned my master's degree, athletic director, when I was in my final 3 months. Was like, hey, we're thinking about starting an esports program. Would you be interested? Gaming's always been a second nature of my life. It was always a different avenue of my life,
Mm.
and so I really wanted to, why not? Let's dip my toes in it and see and see if it works. My original plan was to go to medical school. I wanted to be a sports orthopedic, but
That's
you
awesome.
know, at the time I was doing my master's, everything is when COVID hit. So it kind of really just kind of put a wrench in that little plan at
Yeah,
that point. And I'm a very faithful man, and so I believe that this door opened up, so why not take it?
that's
And
awesome.
and so it was one of those things that I started this program in the fall of 2021, and we flourished ever since.
That's awesome. And what was the program that you started? Is it part of the whole esports or
Yeah, so I started the whole esports program from the ground up.
really? That is
Yes.
really cool.
So I started in the fall of 2021. I started off with 9 players and four empty walls, and now
Yeah.
currently, what we're at today, almost upwards of almost 70 players. We have two fully built facilities, 7 practice rooms, a full lounge, and a full production room. The growth of our team is seen so much success that the school has also brought in an esports management degree. I'm the overseer of as well.
That is amazing. And so this is pretty much the foundation of you offering the or getting the success of 10 conference championships and 3 national championships. What would you say is like key foundation for all that?
So the biggest thing that I really instill into my program is I run mine like a traditional sport.
Mhm.
That's what I've grown up on. That's was my whole life. And so really accountability, being very honest, making sure that you're getting everything that you can out of your players. And also at the end of the day, not sugarcoat anything. If you see
Yeah.
something wrong, you correct it. If you see somebody doing something dumb at the end of the day, you correct it. It's one of those things that when it comes to esports and traditional sports, we're so much alike, but a lot of people don't want to compare us like traditional sports, which is
Yeah.
very understandable and everything as well. But I think that the success that I've had is because we have structured practices, we have structured VOD times, we have the coaches. We make sure that if anything is not going right, we correct it. Like it is one of those things that we we really run ours like the success that traditional sports do, and it's been very successful at the end for doing that way.
That's really cool. It honestly kind of reminds me of people that don't go off and try to compare the two and want to keep them separate. My stepdad, he makes fun of me all the time because he doesn't understand why people will watch me or even others in like even the collegiate space or esports space watch them fight or play video games. And I'm like, dude, you're saying the same thing. Why would I watch a bunch of grown men play football or basketball when you can go outside and you can play that? And then it's a long tangent. It's like 20-minute conversation of how it's so different, and it feels like it's one of the challenges that like sports in general faces. And I guess I wanted to ask, what are some challenges besides probably the pandemic being a blessing in disguise? What would you say is one of your challenges in
So
all
I would
this?
definitely I'll start in the beginning. The challenges is really to show the school that having an esports program is worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of schools that will start esports program, and then unfortunately you see a year or two later it completely is shut down. And so I think one of the biggest challenges that every director is going to face is to, does it bring value to the school? what does the esports program bring to the higher academia, to the teachers, to the student body? What does esports do? And that was definitely something that I really had to sit down and learn myself. I was at Cumberland 2 years before I even started this, and now I've been at Cumberland for 6 years.
Oh,
And
nice.
so it's one of those that I had to find certain, I would say, certain mindset to really have the school understand it, because just said, there's a lot of people that don't understand why we investing $100,000 into computers. Why
Right.
are we making an esports team at the end of the day? Like, what's the value in it?
Right.
But all the success that we've had, all the meetings that I've had with the higher admins and everything as well, just to really specify, like, a lot of these players that are here wouldn't have came here if it wasn't for esports.
Right.
There's a lot of players that wouldn't even go to college if it wasn't for esports. It's one of those things that we're opening a different avenue for players that they never knew they even had. And so, once the school really saw like full drive of what I wanted to do, they were all for it. And that's why I think I've had so much success. My athletic director, Pavin, and then President Stump, they have given me the keys to the kingdom, and they definitely have let me do what I need to do to make, one, this school very successful, two, this program very successful, and I'm very grateful for them.
That is awesome. I want to also ask, I guess, on top of this, is you to try to find students to come to a university that does involve esports. There's some kids out there that like don't have the knowledge that there are schools that offer things like this. Are you going through high schools and like, trying to get children to, I guess, stay in school to further out their education?
100%. No, I definitely agree that college isn't for everybody at the end of the
Mhm.
day, but always told everybody's a gamer.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to compete. I have football players, basketball players that look to join my team in their off season and everything as well. But going to college for something that you love to do is amazing. I loved football. I played football my whole life. Getting that opportunity to play on a different field in college on a scholarship meant the world to me.
Right.
And so, why would I not want to give that opportunity to this Rocket League player, this Overwatch player, this Valorant player? Because at the end, they're putting so much time in, they're putting all the effort in that they can.
Mhm.
Why not give them the opportunity to help pay for some of their schooling? Make it cheaper for them, allow them to get an education, because the shelf life of, unfortunately, an esports player is very small.
It really
A
is.
and so I see it with pros and everything as well. Why not use your ability to help you go to school at the end of the
Mhm.
day? And I'm very grateful that I'm able to give that type of opportunity out.
That's awesome. And so, other than being a director, you're also a coach for the organization also, correct?
So I am I'm the director. I'm the overseer of it all. It is I'm the one that makes sure that all the pieces are together at the end of the day. If I have to specialize into a title that I coach and everything as well, it's all my sports titles. Sports titles have always been my biggest thing. And 2K and FIFA. That's actually the three that we've won our national championship in.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and so it's one of those that's my specialty. I do have amazing coaches that coach our Valorant team, our Overwatch team. Shout out to Max and Mike. Those are my two graduate assistants. They work day in and day out. Really take a lot of weight off my back. Just because year one and year two, it was just me with 40 kids,
And
and so
how do
coaching all
you
that was insane.
right, how do you balance all of that?
So when when it comes to that type of question, I'm always very brutally honest. Is that esports directors do not get paid enough at the end. But in me, it was the drive to see the players want to compete,
Mhm.
see the players getting all the pieces together, winning those games, being able to get these rings at the end of the
Right.
day, like that was that was always the goal. And, it's always the purpose of it. And so now that I actually am able to have graduate assistants, have volunteer coaches, managers and stuff as well, it does take a lot of weight off my shoulders. So now that I can make sure that the program as a whole
Yeah.
flourishes.
Right, because you're
And
not just teaching like just the players, you're also teaching coaches and probably even some social media and trying to get them to at least use that also into the esports industry in general.
100%. Like I just said, my graduate assistant, his name is Mike. He's a recent graduate from Southern New Hampshire. Uh, Best graphic designer in all of collegiate.
That's awesome.
And I will die on that hill. He definitely it makes my life 10 times easier. But that's the biggest thing that I like. I'll go back before. People have so many skills.
Yeah.
He learned Blender, which is graphic design side of it in like a
Yeah.
month, and Blender is tough.
Yes, that is.
And
Oh my gosh.
he sat down and he said, "I want us to win social media of the year. I want us to have the best graphics of the year. I'm going to learn this."
That's
Those
awesome.
are the type of people I want in my program.
Yeah.
That's why we've won these championships. That's why, flourishing everything. He's also is my Overwatch coach. And our Overwatch team is flourishing. They're going to break into the top 20 this
That's really
upcoming week.
cool.
Those things that I'm very grateful for everything that we have here, and I'm just glad that there's so many opportunities for every different route outside of just gaming. At the end of the
Right.
day.
That is awesome. And so, like on to like, oh, now like you're to be in the next match. Do you take your like rituals? Have you carried them through the esports part? Like when y'all are ready for a tournament, like what like the routine or like 1, 2, 3 break? Like how
So
does that go?
Most definitely. I know, coaches have different things. Uh, allow my coaches to really have, input of what it is. I hate micromanaging. I will never micromanage over my coaches. So, always find like what works best with the team and
Mhm.
everything as well. Uh, but for me, uh, when I go talk to like our teams before games and everything as well, I really just try to get them in, that safe spot. Like what is your comfort zone for you to compete at the highest level?
Yeah.
And be taking a lap around the facility, getting some fresh air, just sitting down and just that breath or even meditating, music,
Mhm.
there's always different types of ways. Uh but me, I always like to just speak to the team. The team is, I feel like, something I'm very passionate about. Just because I feel like whenever I speak, there's so much passion, and whenever
Mhm.
and I think the players really grasp it at the end of the day. I know like we had a massive Overwatch match like last Saturday that was against a very good opponent, uh, and it's really just informing the players like you are all amazing players. It's kinda like
Yeah.
the like, of affirmation type of thing, like, you you are the best player.
Mhm.
I know that you're the best player. Show that you're the best player. Don't under pressure. Stuff
Right.
when you're right. How are you gonna react to it and everything as well. And that's something that we also go over throughout our boot camp.
Mhm.
A 3-week long boot camp before school even starts. Uh,
Okay.
First week and a half, we don't even touch a PC.
Oh wow.
We and so throughout that 3 weeks, we ran a mile every day. We worked out. We did ultimate frisbee. We did sand volleyball. We did a core workout. I had one of my military buddies come out. We did like a little military workout.
Oh, that's
Just be-
awesome.
just because at the end of the day, when it comes to esports, it's so mentally draining.
Yeah.
And so getting players out of their comfort zone, where everybody is even. You
Mhm.
know, who's gonna step up when adversity hits? When stuff is getting tough, who's going to be like, "We got it. Let's keep going." Because like one of the best stories that came out of our boot camp was we were running the first mile, uh, and we had a player that was probably a quarter way to almost being finished, and
Mhm.
he was getting gassed for sure, like he feeling it, but he had a teammate that he never met until that day.
Mhm.
Come on, man. Let's go. Let's finish it out. Finish it out.
That's awesome.
And now they're best buds.
That is so
Like,
cool.
and play two completely different games. That is the type of stuff that we build here. That is the
Yes.
type of stuff that I want to make the team dynamic at the end of the day, because that is how we put players that are from all around the world. I have 15 international students. I have players from Brazil. I have players from Pakistan. I have players from Argentina. Players don't know what goes on here, and so
Right.
getting that close team bond already is massive. And that boot camp, to like the like ritual type of tradition type of thing, you do the breakdown, family on three, like
It's awesome.
it is at the end. I will always utilize this team as like a traditional sport because we are a family. It takes a unit, and not we're not individuals. It takes a unit to
Right.
win championships. It may be your Overwatch team winning the championship and not your Valorant team, but I promise you, your Valorant team is the one supporting your Overwatch team enough for them to win that championship. And
Yeah.
that's what we try to do here.
That is really cool. I love stories like that. That is so awesome. And I feel like this might be like the future of the collegiate esports space, like having like the challenges through the tournaments that you have. Do you think though is like biggest impact for the future students? What would you think involving in the esports space would probably be like hardest part?
So I definitely think that the future of esports can go really any direction.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think that's the best thing about esports is that there's no right pathway. And I base mine off traditional sports, but Bob up the road might not do it as traditional sports, and he's just as successful.
Yeah.
There's no right pathway. Look at college football. You had the Nick Saban, Abos, everything, and you try to take what they're doing and trying to make a good collegiate football team. With
Right.
esports, do it any different type of way. And so when it comes to the future of it, I think esports is just now really starting to really go up and take its peak at the end. I started this in 2021,
Mhm.
and the growth that I've seen in esports in just over the now 4 years is insane.
Yeah, it
And so
really is.
I think that 3 to 5 years is gonna be one of the most dominant sports in all of collegiate, and the schools making teams time just because, like I said, you're hitting a different when it
Mhm.
comes to bringing the players in, players here, them to have something different than that they do already. And so would also be surprised if we ever get sanctioned by like the NCAA or NAIA.
Yeah,
I don't know if that will ever happen. uh I think that's really always the biggest question, see if that's really going to come up. But I definitely think that probably the next 3 to 5 years, for the players that don't know about collegiate esports and everything, I think that it's just going to be like a college football type of thing where school competes in it, like there's availability for it.
that's awesome. And then I guess my next one is other than the players or like people want to be maybe a coach or a director, what would be like the advice for someone who wants to still be a part of the space but wanting to help instead of like player?
So that's one of the best things that we do here as well. So we
Hmm.
actually have 15 student staff
Okay.
team. They help manage our Val team, our Rocket League team, our COD team, every which way.
Hmm.
We actually have a student that was a former player. Uh, his first year, I run our full production side.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
he is a mastermind when it comes to it. Like he does more things with our production and stream that I would ever know what to do. But we get to give those type of opportunities
Mm.
to those players. A player that came in, he's our full-time nutritionist.
Oh
He
wow.
he he sits and brings in how much water intake our players are having. Seeing results of if we did this type of week of practice with XYZ, how did we perform on that next competition? And then the next week we look at it and we're like, okay, the better performance in this competition. Maybe we need to start resulting more towards this and everything like that. And it is a cool aspect because when people think of just esports, they think of just, oh, just competing.
Hmm.
No, there's so much more. I have my one of my students, she's a former player as well. She's actually now like our chief of operations.
Oh,
Uh
that's
so
awesome.
so like she all of our school tours,
Mhm.
you know, basically manages everything, and it is so nice to opportunity to students that are still here. She been flown out by multiple other schools to work media for them and everything as well.
That is so
And
cool.
and so our biggest thing is always giving value and opportunity to our players outside of just competing. Because like I said, the shelf life when it comes to competing is very small. So
Mhm.
why not? Why I would be doing my players a disservice if I don't put them in a spot where they're getting the tangible value to take into the real world at the end of the day.
For sure. And then, I have one more question for your the building. So you have provided a spot from four walls all the way to now like a collegiate lounge for your players and your coaches and just anybody in that space. One question for this though. If you were to build your dream esports like or Tennessee's Cumberland, what would be like one feature you would include?
So, I come from traditional sports,
Mm,
and so I'm actually kind of work it this way to do it, but I enjoy walking into a facility and having like a wall of champions type of thing.
yeah.
It's like when you walk into, like Oregon, if you walk into like everything, you have all the accolades, you have all your All Americans on the wall, you have
Mm,
a side panel that has all the jerseys on there, all like the uniform, the gear, all the trophies, like stuff that I want to do. Want to have the big LED logo on our
yeah,
ceiling and everything. Like, I think that that just means so much. Like, if I could really, just uh, everything and rebuild it. That's honestly what I would do. Just
right.
because your first sight is the wow factor,
Mhm.
and we try to make our wow factor the best I can. Like when you walk into our lounge, you see photos of all of the lands that we went to, all our two trophy cases with all of our trophies, everything in there. Like you get to see the story before you even know the story,
Right. That
and
is so
and and
cool.
that and that's really what I would like. Uh, and also probably if I got to really make some probably snack bar.
Yes. You have to have the snack bar for
I mean, I got
sure.
all the snacks right here, but it'd be nice
Right.
not to have them in my office.
Right, throw, like, a nice little neon light at the top of it and go, "Snack bar."
Yep, it'd be perfect.
Right, who knows? Maybe in, like, 4 years from now, you'll build that, and we'll have to piggyback on this and go, "So, did you do
That's
it?"
fine.
And you're
I'm
gonna
all
go, "I
for it.
did it." Yes, that's awesome. And I've been asking the last few people that I've interviewed, what would you say, since this was about 4 years ago, since you've started really all of this, what would you give that your younger self who was into the football before the esports, like advice, or what would be one thing you would give him to kinda through with what you've done now?
So I think my biggest thing is always be the best. You know, I've always had to start telling myself that if you want to be the best, you have to be the best. And
Yeah.
have the bad days when you like this was one for the books for me. But that's what I signed up for. But I
Yeah.
want to be the best. I want to win the championships. I want to be, in the record books. I want to be put into, Mount Rushmore of directors at the end of the
Yes.
day or anything. But at always at times, especially like younger self of me, I would always get down on myself, happen, and I'd be like, I'll just do this later. Worried about this. But now that I've been in this scene, when I don't do my best, I'm doing a disservice to my team.
Mm,
And so it's one of those things that like I'm not doing my best. How could I expect them to do their best?
right.
Like how could I expect my coaches to do everything that I need them to do if I'm not giving them my best? And it was definitely a giant process that helped me grow myself because like I said, started this program. Uh, I really didn't know what to do.
Right.
It was really more a lot of obstacles, a lot of hurdles that I got to overcome. But
Mhm.
the mindset, want to be the best. Like our slogan since year one was "Watch greatness happen." Greatness happen has always been something that is stuck with me. Just because it is one of those things that you never know what's next. A tattoo inside my arm that says "Expect the unexpected."
Yes.
That is something that I've lived with for my whole life, just because you never know what the next step is. But if you don't give it your all, if you
Mhm.
don't really just sit down and say, "I'm going to outwork this person. I'm going to be the person. I'm going to make sure I never get outworked." It'll be you put yourself in a good situation where you can be very successful.
That's awesome. And honestly, I hope you are going to be one of the people on the coaches or the directors of Mount Rushmore. You are like, you're so driven and energetic and super passionate, not only just as the director sides, but towards your players. And I've really enjoyed like this podcast and really, at your craft and figuring out things that you've done. And it's been really cool. I appreciate you and I thank you so much for sharing everything with us.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, it's one of those things that, I never expected to actually ever be in this scene whenever I graduated college. I'm very blessed to be here. I'm blessed with all the players, all the coaches, present players and everything. Like I'm very blessed to be in this role, and so make sure that day in and day out that they get everything from me, and make sure that we continue just on that good stride.
Awesome. And then before we go, where can our finders find out more about you or Tennessee's Cumberland University?
So all of our social medias are CU Esports 21 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, every which way. You can get all my contact information, to us. My Twitter. Twitter is the guru of when it comes to social media.
Yes.
But yeah, under CU Esports 21.
Awesome. And we'll go ahead and we'll put everything in the descriptions of this podcast also. Yeah, thank you, Spencer, again. And to our listeners, we'll see you next week. Bye,
All right,
guys.
see you guys.